Good day. We're going to get started about this PPP and give you an update on the $76 million that PPP still has. What is going to happen with it? How can we get our piece of the pie? We're going to go ahead and get started. Well, if you can hear me, can you give me a thumbs up? Because I think someone just made me aware that they're having an issue right now with the sound and saying that it's frozen. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Can you hear me? All right. Thank you, Londa. She says she can hear me. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Well, as you know, PPP ended at the beginning of the summer, and people were still in process, either for their first round, their great job. I'm glad. They were in progress for either their second round or their very first round, and they did not get their fundings. Also, as we know, the nosy people of the world decided to post the data on who all received a PPP loan. Well, if you look on that data, then you will see who got a PPP loan, but it'll also tell you if it was undispersed. And undispersed means that they did not get their funds, that they may have been allocated a SBA number, but the bank that they were going through didn't actually allocate them the funds. So some people did not get their funds, maybe because the deadline ran out, or some people, because of fraud, depending on what lender you were going through, some lenders were flagging people for criminal records, even though they wasn't supposed to do that. Some people were flagging their accounts for fraud because of a social security number or EIN number. So there was various reasons why people were getting their PPP loan flagged for fraud, and they actually did not receive their funds. So some of those people were they were approved, but they didn't actually receive the funds. So you have that some people that, felt like that, oh gosh, they realized that people started scaring them on social media saying you're going to jail if you took out a PPP loan. And some people got scared, even though they might have had a legitimate business. And some people got scared that actually was doing fraud, and they were approved, but they did not accept the funds. They sent the funds back, canceled their loan. Some people's banks, if they were using a personal account to get funds and they knew that that account had never been used for a business, whether it was a sole proprietor or whatever, their credit union that was receiving the funds may have intercepted those funds and froze them or sent them back. And if they wasn't able to get the hold release because they wasn't able to provide the documentation that their bank was requesting, then those funds went back to SBA. Well, a lot of this back and forth and things happened at the last minute, and then they had until June the 30th to get funds out, and that was why a lot of people couldn't get their forgiveness started because their lender was still focusing on actually getting loan funds out to people. So that's why, some people's portals are not open, and that's why the SBA is having you go directly through their portal to do your forgiveness, because a lot of these banks, they just didn't have the manpower to keep up. Well, in between people not getting their funds dispersed, people rejecting the loans, or SBA intercepting the loans for fraud or whatever, there is now a bank of $76 million approximately. Not, I don't have the exact dollar for you, but approximately there's $76 million that is sitting there for PPP. Well, now they are voting in your Congress to reallocate those funds, and it's in the infrastructure bill. And if some of you remember, you can go back and look at the video that I did a couple weeks on the infrastructure bill. The infrastructure bill is one of the largest bills in history for infrastructure, and it's got a lot of things in that bill. And guess what? One of the items in that bill is to reallocate the rest of the PPP funds and put it in the infrastructure bill. We do not want that to happen. We want the funds to be allocated for what they were given for, and that is for PPP. So we need you to go to house.gov, senate.gov, go on Twitter, fax your congressman, call his office. If you're not sure who your congressperson is, I'm going to put it on here. You can type in your zip code on this website, and it will tell you who your senators are in your area. And if you go to house.gov, you can do the same thing there to find out who your House of Representatives are, because you need to get in contact with these people to let them know that you don't want that $76 million to go to the infrastructure bill. That bill has trillions of dollars in it. You needed to go back to PPP, and that we need it for the people who did not get the maximum of $20,833 that were sole proprietors, and they got their funds based on the old formula. So they might have only got $5,000 when the formula changed. They didn't go back and give those people the difference. So those people need to put in a word with their congressman to ask them to go back and fund them the rest of their money that they gave these people after March, because they changed the formula from your net to your gross. And that is what surged people and put them over the edge to get the maximum as a sole proprietor. Now, if you had payroll, you got 2.5 times your payroll. But if you were a sole proprietor, you may have only gotten $5,000 when you should have gotten the max based on the new formula. So those people need to go back and ask for the difference on their funds. Some people learned about PPP late in the game. Yes, really. People learned about PPP late in the game. So give us the applications. Give the money for what President Trump assigned the funds for. $76 million. If you give out $76 million, and the maximum that most of the people that qualify for PPP is going to get $20,833. So that means if you do 5 PPP loans, that's only $100,000. So if you do 50, that's a million. That's only $1 million. So a lot of small business sole proprietors really need this money, because people are not coming back to work. People are still struggling. Their business is still struggling, and they really need these funds. We do not need these funds to go to infrastructure. So we need your help. You can tweet, because a lot of you have Twitter, and a lot of these Congress people are on Twitter, and they are looking and watching these tweets. Tag them in your tweet and tell them don't reallocate this money for infrastructure. We need this money for PPP to get the rest of that $76 million, because it's a lot of people out here that are still waiting in the queue, stuck in the queue, or they were not given their funds. So we really need that money now. And small businesses, even if you're not a small business owner, you are a constituent to these Congress people, and you can ask these congressmen to help your fellow business owners. And remember that you could have been an Uber driver. You might be entitled to $20,833, but you can't get it if they allocate it to infrastructure. That means roads, electric cars, all that stuff. We don't want that for that. It's only and I'm saying only 76 million, but that is what it was allocated for. Now we got somebody on here. She only got $1,140, probably. And I don't know if you were under the old formula, which went off of your net instead of your gross. And that could easily change if it goes from your gross, if you got that based on your net, your gross, you could easily be at $20,833. So a lot of small businesses could use that $20,833, especially the people did not get round two. Especially the people that did not even get any money at all because they were so late in the game of finding out. So again, I'm going to put on the screen. You need to go to house.gov and senate.gov so that you can put your zip code in, find out who these senators are, find out who these Congress people are, and you need to tweet, you need to email them, you need to DM them, call their office, fax their office. You need to do whatever to help us get this $76 million. That's a game changer for a lot of people. A lot of people think that $20,000 isn't a lot of money, but it could pay some bills right now for some people. And people really need the help that are sole proprietors, people that are being affected by the pandemic. Financially, maybe their business is not as prosperous as it was, or they've been out of work due to COVID, or they've had workers that have been out due to COVID. So please do reach out to your Congress people so we can get this PPP back popping. And for those people that, are sending funds back or did not want their funds, we need to reallocate those funds to people that want it, people that need it, and people that can benefit from it. So again, I'm asking you to reach out to your senators and your House of Representatives, because they're supposed to vote on this infrastructure around September the 27th. So this could be a game changer for a lot of people. So a lot of people are on the internet begging you all to do this. And when people say that they don't vote because it does, you see how this affects you? Because now, and we're not going to get into politics, but a lot of the business stuff that was put in place for COVID was doing the Republican administration. And now that it's kind of changed hands, now we're seeing where the shift is going to the majority of the people rather to small businesses. But this channel, this outlet is about business and real estate investing. So we have to look out for what's in our best interest, and that is the small business. So please do reach out to your senators, congressmen, and tell them that you do not want the $76 million that they have in leftover PPP funds reallocated to infrastructure. You needed to stay with PPP and for them to spend the money as it was originally approved for them to do. So that way, the people that got paid off their net instead of their gross can possibly, how many more loans could people get off 76 million if they just give the people the difference between $5,000 to their $20,833 that they actually deserve, and they did not get it because they did have a net and they hadn't changed the formula when they got their money. So please do, if you're in that situation, or even if you know somebody in that situation, please do reach out to your senators and your Congress people to let them know that we need these funds for PPP and not infrastructure. The infrastructure bill, yes, you can make money off of that, but they've got trillions of dollars that they're asking for within that bill. So let them deal with that, but keep the 76 million with PPP. And remember to like and share this video. You might be able to help a small business owner. Remember that to qualify for PPP, you did not have to have an EIN number. You didn't have to have an LLC. You could be a sole proprietor, a Schedule C filer, and almost over 50% of Americans, according to some statistics that I looked up, have some kind of form Schedule C on their tax return, or something that's pertaining to a business where they should be able to get these funds. And these funds will help a lot of people survive this pandemic. Because remember, we're trying to turn this pandemic to a bandemic, even though it's not a lot of money, but it can make a difference in somebody's life. And also, I want to remind people not to forget to do your forgiveness. You got up to 10 months, but you got before your first payment is due on your PPP. But if you do your forgiveness before then you won't have to make a payment. And remember, you have up to 6 months to exhaust all the funds so that you can apply for your forgiveness. And like I said before, a lot of these lenders were overwhelmed. So you can go directly to the SBA website and do your forgiveness. If you need some assistance, please do DM me. Thank you.